Did you give me a pill? That's what Carissa asked her husband, a pastor, 3 days before she drowned. His answer was a lie. What happened next took 2 trials and 15 years to uncover. Anna Carissa Darwin was born in the Philippines in 1981. Her family moved to Toronto when she was 13. She battled a liver illness silently. She worked extra jobs while earning a double degree in human biology and archaeology from the University of Toronto. After graduating, she became a casualty underwriter. Her faith at Jarvis Street Baptist Church was central. People called her a true saint. She had a forgiving heart. That quality would soon be tested in ways no one could have imagined. In 2008, Carissa married Philip Grandine, a young pastor. By 2011, she was 20 weeks pregnant with a baby she called Jelly Bean. She refused anti-nausea pills because they made her drowsy. Then she discovered Philip was having an affair with a woman from their congregation, a woman Carissa had called a friend. Carissa forgave the woman, but Philip did not stop. Marriage counseling followed. Carissa installed a porn blocker on their computer. Philip agreed to change. He did not. On October 14, 2011, Carissa became suddenly ill. Dizziness, disorientation, impaired muscle control. Philip drove her to the hospital. Doctors found nothing. She was released. That night, confused and frightened, she asked Philip a direct question. "Did you give me a pill?" He said no. Years later, investigators retested her blood from that hospital visit. It contained lorazepam, a powerful sedative never prescribed to her. She was 20 weeks pregnant. She would never have taken it willingly. The judge would later rule that October 14th was not an accident. It was a test run. Philip worked as a nurse manager with access to lorazepam. He gave the drug to both himself and Carissa to see how she reacted. The symptoms were stronger than he expected, strong enough that he had to take her to hospital. But he did not stop. He simply adjusted his plan. 3 days later, he tried again. This time, he would not call for help until it was far too late. On October 17th, Philip called 911. He said he had been out for a run and found Carissa underwater in the bathtub. But phone records showed he was home, on the phone with his mistress. Computer logs showed that while Carissa lay in the water, Philip uninstalled the pornography blocker she had installed. The autopsy found a fresh bump on her head and drowning. Toxicologists found lorazepam in her blood. Again. A woman who refused mild medication had been sedated twice. The family computer held searches for lorazepam. What it does, what dose is fatal. Those searches appeared alongside escort services and pornography, things Carissa had no reason to look up. The Crown argued Philip conducted those searches. On the night of the drowning, he obtained a temporary password to remove the porn blocker, minutes before calling 911. He never mentioned the phone call to his mistress. He never mentioned uninstalling the software. His simple story of a jog began to collapse. Philip was charged with first-degree murder in 2012. The first trial was in 2014. The jury heard everything: the affair, the drug access, the test run, the computer searches, the call to the mistress. After 2 days, they convicted him of manslaughter, not murder. He received 15 years. Then he appealed. The Ontario Court of Appeal granted a new trial because the judge had introduced a legal theory not argued by either side. Philip would face a second jury. The second trial began in 2019, but the Crown could no longer argue intention. They could not say Philip meant to kill his wife, only that he drugged her and that the drugging caused her death. The defense argued Carissa took the pills herself, driven by depression. No evidence supported that. Philip never testified. The jury deliberated for just 1 day. Verdict: guilty of manslaughter. Again. Philip stared straight ahead. No reaction, no remorse. Another 15 years. Justice Faye McWatt delivered her sentencing decision in January 2020. She called Philip's actions diabolical, planned, premeditated. She said he resented Carissa because she stood between him and his affair, between him and the pornography he wanted. The judge ruled that October 14th was a deliberate test run. and that he repeated the act on October 17th. She said this case was closer to murder than any manslaughter she had ever seen. 15 years was the maximum she could give. On October 14th, dizzy and confused, Carissa looked at her husband and asked, "Did you give me a pill?" He said no. 3 days later, she stepped into a bathtub, unaware she had been drugged again. She lost consciousness in warm water. She never woke up. Philip Grandine, the pastor who preached covenant and truth, never took the stand, never explained, never apologized. Some questions never get an honest answer, Carissa asked. Philip lied. That lie cost her life and her babies.